class is fixed income securities, 채권금융론. This class doesn't have midterm exam, final exam. This class doesn't have a team project. I'm happy with removing all sorts of exam, midterm exam, final exam. I'm happy about that. But I had some concern about removing team project because obviously there are benefits of doing work with other students, doing something with the team. Anyway, when you graduate this university and get a job, you will do most of every work with a team. So teamwork is very important. However, up to now, I don't have any good solution of avoiding moral hazard problem. Okay? When students work with a team, some students work hard, but some students don't. And then they free ride to the hardworking student, and that demoralizes the hardworking student. That's very bad. So until I find a good solution about that kind of moral hazard problem, I will not ask you to do the team project. But being late is equal to missing a class. So if you happen to be late to this class, actually you don't have to come to class if your only concern is roll sheet. Okay? Because sometimes being late, actually very often, being late is actually even worse than missing an appointment. Any question? If you have a question, please stop me anytime. Again, there is no ordinary midterm exam, final, or any exam. I do not want to test you with the knowledge readily available in Wikipedia or text or internet. This is nowadays everyone has smartphone, and virtually almost all knowledge is just thumbs away, right? Just thumb click away. Therefore, I cannot find any point of testing you with the knowledge you can easily find. Therefore, I decided to get rid of any exam. So this is also experiment to me. Up to last semester, there was a midterm exam, final exam. But from this semester, actually it is my first semester that I experiment classes without any exam. So it is, I think, a good news to you, right? Okay. But instead of those exams, still I have to rank you. Okay, I have to sort you based on your achievement, because I can give you only 40%, less than 40% of you A, right? Okay. Therefore, I have to sort you. Therefore, there should be course requirement. The most important is term paper. You have to write the term paper, and term paper topic should be about fixed income securities, like a bond, interest rate, those things. By the way, if you take my financial case research class, which is morning, Wednesday and Friday morning, you cannot reuse. Okay, you cannot recycle a term paper used in one class to the other, which means that if you take my financial case research class 2, you have to write 2 case studies or 2 term papers, right? For this one and for that one. And then you are expected to master R or Excel VBA. I recommend R. So I'll give you homework based on R. I'll explain to you what I mean by R and what is R. R is like software that allows you to write a simple program and to simple calculations. Is there anyone who has ever used R before? Okay, you did. 1, 2. Okay, where? So you never learned R before. So does anyone have any experience about R? Yeah, you have one. And where did you learn that? 네? 계량금융? Who was the professor? Okay, so anyway, R is important. And then every class there will be student presentation, maximum 15 minutes, from 10 to 15 minutes. And then student presentation schedule is here. And then here it is a 재무사례 연구 final case study. So this is for bond, this class. So I need a volunteer for the Friday's presentation. Any volunteer? So this is again student presentation is very important. So if you do the presentation, your grade is likely to be higher than those without any student presentation. And the earlier the better. Any volunteer? And then this is our textbook. In this textbook, you can do the presentation about chapter 2, not entire chapter 2, just the 2.1 to 2.3. That's a very easy part. So any lucky student? What? Yes, this textbook. Of course, you cannot explain everything. In maximum 15 minutes, you cannot explain everything in this section 2.1 to 2.3. So you have to be selective. You have to target content. And then communicate your target content to other students. So any volunteer? Okay, good. What is your name? Just a moment. You are Park Sung-hyun. Good. So I think you are the lucky student because it is easiest. Again, this is the easiest part. And then the earlier, the more generous I become about the quality of student presentation. So you are the lucky one. And I want to choose one more student for the 1 week later. For 1 week later, the coverage of the presentation would be this one. Chapter 2.4, 4 to 2.5. Any volunteer? What is your name? 최창영. For the other part, we will decide next class, okay, Friday. But until then, if you have any strong preference on the particular date, you can send an email about today's class. And then this class requires you to write an English essay, English article. I explained this in the morning, but again, I want to explain this. So, majority of you are Korean, right? And then English is your secondary language. So I fully understand that writing a term paper in English is a hard task. So I'll give you a kind of strategy to write an English term paper very easy. Okay? Strategy 1, use short sentence. Okay? Please don't. If your sentence, so when you write an essay, if your sentence is more than 2 lines, then there is likely to be a problematic. There is likely to be a problem. In that case, you can separate your long sentence into the 2 or 3 short sentences. Okay? So if you use short sentences, you are less likely to make mistakes, and then it is likely that your sentence is more clearer and easier to understand. Second, do not use complex sentence. What I mean by complex sentence, complex sentence is usually long. It is a sentence which is connected with like where, when, if, those things, and which is again connected with the and, but, and something like that. In that case, most of cases, you can separate that complex sentences into short and simple sentences. Especially, I recommend the sentence structure of subject, verb, object, SVO. I love him, right? I love this class. This is perfect English, isn't it? This is perfect English. So if you stick to this simple structure, you can write perfect English. Right? And then do not use long paragraph. Okay, couple of so set of sentences make one paragraph. And then please do not make your paragraph too long. 6 to 7 sentences per paragraph would be fine. Okay. So if your paragraph is like 20 lines long, in that case, it is uncomfortable to read your paragraph. In that case, you can again decompose. Okay, you can make your long paragraph into the short several paragraphs. And then this one is very important. The first sentence of your paragraph should be a good topic sentence. So the very first sentence of your paragraph should provide a basic idea about that paragraph, the content of that paragraph. And the second, this one is also important. So if you connect the series of the first sentences in each paragraph, they should construct a nice storyline. So check whether this storyline is logical and flows well. So for example, this is very slow. I don't know why. The Hanyang University is engine of Korea. And then computer is always very slow and internet is very slow. This is not good. Okay, so the first sentence, this is Guardian is very famous and prestigious newspaper, and even in this newspaper, look, paragraph is so short. Okay, this is a paragraph, and they are very short. And then in each paragraph, the first line is a topic sentence. So if you want to read this article very quickly, one of your strategies is just read the first sentence of each paragraph. Okay? If it is good, well-written article, just reading first sentence should make sense. Okay? By just reading first sentences, you should be able to understand the idea of this paper, idea of this article. In order to make the paper, okay, in order to make readers understand your article by reading just the first sentence, obviously, the series of this first sentence should flow well, right? They should flow well, and they should make nice storyline, and they should be connected logically, right? Remember this. That's very important. What is your name? 정슬기 학생. 장슬기 학생. Okay, this is the first class, so I'll check you. However, okay, just a moment. You are not in the roll sheet. Okay. Okay, for your information, this is first time. So in this class, being late equal to missing a class. Okay, so I will just call the rules just one time in the beginning of class. If you miss that opportunity, you will have a chance again. Okay, you will be regarded as missing the class. So in this case, okay, if you are late again, like this one, you will be regarded as the absent. Okay. Again, yes, just a series of topic sentences should flow well and should flow logically. And then this is something I'm not good at either, but do your best about articles such as all the things, right? This is a very, very difficult part, okay? Yeah, even to me, I'm not excellent in English writing, but this is almost always most headache to me. But in English, as you know, articles are important actually. Without proper articles, you can be easily confused. So please be careful about writing, about using articles correctly. I know it is difficult, but just do your best. And then your term paper, basically your term paper about bond or interest rate is basically there should be a research question and the answer to the question. So your term paper is basically answer to your own question. You ask a question to yourself and you answer that question in your writing. So that's actually the whole point of any scholarly article. Then question, what is the research question? About research question, okay? Research question is very important. Specifying the research question is a methodological point of departure of scholarly research in both the natural and social science. This is social science, and it is the methodological point of departure. So every scholarly article should start with a research question. You should come up with a research question. Okay. The research question is basically sentence ending with a question mark. Okay. So something like, what is bond? What is interest rate? This is research question. But this is actually not good research question because many people have already answered that research question. What is bond and what is interest rate? We already know the answer. So therefore, in order to write good term paper, you should come up with a research question which should be original. You should come up with a research question that nobody has ever asked before. That is actually not easy. That's a pretty tough one. But it is not impossible. Okay? Suppose your research question is, what is bond? That is very well known. The answer is well known. Then you can narrow down your research question. What is mortgage bond? Okay? Mortgage securities bond, something like that. Then there is a slightly narrowed down. We narrow down the question, but still we know the answer. We know the answer to the mortgage-backed securities or mortgage-related securities. Then you have to narrow down further. Okay, how people trade mortgage-related securities in Korea. Okay, and that is also many people answer that question, but far fewer number of people actually invested the question. So you are going narrow region, so fewer and fewer people investigated the question. So you can maybe narrow down further. So such that how mortgage-related securities are traded in Korea around financial crisis, something like that. Okay, and I'm not sure whether someone addressed that question or not, but now you are being close to original research question. Okay. You are being close to accomplishing, making original research question. Right? In that way, you can keep narrow down until you find one original research question. Once you find original research question, yes, not every original research question is actually good research question. In order to make a good research question, you need another requirement. Your research question should be original and your research question should be interesting. Okay? There are many original but uninteresting research questions. Right? So therefore, you should come up with an interesting research question. Of course, sometimes you have to convince people that why your research question is interesting. Why people should be interested in the research question. If you are convincing enough, maybe you can persuade others. You can make others interested in your research question. Okay, so basically some research questions are obviously interesting, but for some research questions you should convince readers. Third one is your research question should be important. Your research question should be either practically important or academically important. Important to maybe professors, important to students, important to the policy maker or fund managers or investors, something like that. So it should be important. So again, to summarize, you have to come up with a research question that is original, interesting, and important. Once you find that original research question, then you have to answer to that question in your own way. Do you have any questions? Yes? Okay, then Google it, okay? Okay, you go to the Google. So suppose your research question is how to trade mortgage-backed securities, right? If it is your research question, then look, there are already a lot of answers. So use Google, that's easy to do. Any other question? Yes, David? I mean, it is up to you. Come up with a new trading strategy. I think that's a decent topic. That's fine. And then you can simply answer your research question. That is also fine. Come up with a new trading strategy is good because you can simply change it to a research question. Can I make money by using this kind of trading strategy? Something like that. That is a research question, and your answer can be yes. But you have to prove that your answer is yes. So that is a good research question. Any other question? So no problem about finding research question. So from today, maybe you have to think about you have to keep thinking about your research question before you go to sleep or having dinner or breakfast. Okay? Just keep thinking about your research question. Then I'm sure you will come up with a good one. And then suppose you have a research question and you have your hypothesis about your answer, then you have to prove that your answer is right. And then there is a way to write a term paper, which is here in this link. You can find how to write term paper. Basically, it shows the format of the term paper. It is basically structure of how you can answer your research question. But before I explain this, since you don't have a research question yet, I will wait until you find a good research question. So I may explain this term paper format maybe 2 weeks later. By that time, I hope you have a This is the research question. And the class material. Our class material is this one. Yeah. Fixed income securities, valuation risk, and risk management. This one. This is our textbook. And then for PPT slides, there is a link to the PPT slide. So for student presentation, of course, you can create your own PPT slides. Actually, PPT slides are not required, but it is good to have a sample PPT slide. So when you do the presentation, you can basically download the part of this PPT slide and recycle it, reuse it for student presentation. That will make your life easier. And on the Coursera, there are many interesting lectures, and this lecture is, I think, a very good one. So when you have time, you can take a lecture, free lecture. Oh, I have to log in. Okay. You can create. Yes, there is a. This is good financial engineering risk management. This is very good class. So if you are more interested in fixed income securities and need a good result, you can go to this presenters take lecture. There we go. Okay, any question? No. And then this class requires using R. Okay. And then R is R. You can type R in the Google. Then R, the first is R project for statistical computing. Okay. This is what we need throughout this class. R project. R is free. Okay. It's good. It's a free software. It's a free software environment for statistical computing and graphics. It compiles to a wide variety of Unix platform. And another is R is open source. And a lot of people use R. Therefore, you actually there are a lot of good packages or sample programs written in R. So you go to R, and then because I'll sometimes give homework that requires writing R program, basically you have to download R your desktop. Okay? So you go to R project. So first, just type R in the Google, and then go to the first link, and you have this one, and you can go download R. Then download R. And then R, you can select anything, Zero Cloud, or maybe there is a Korean one. Korea, okay. Korea Next, okay. And this is Seoul National University and Biodisk. Let's go to Seoul National University and download R for Windows. Install R for the first time. Download R, this one. And then it will download .exe executable file. Good. Download is done, and then you can execute it. Execute. I usually use English, so let's go English. And then next, 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 just next, next, next. is done. Okay. And then I can start R. Okay, so this is R. This is a Korean environment. So, for example, I can do something like this: 100 plus 110, 210, something like this. Okay. And another one is I can define function with R. So let me define my function, and then x, and then x plus 1. Okay. A and x plus 1, and then let me use simple one, x plus 1, something like this. So this is my function. So if I club my function M3, the answer is 4, something like that. So you can create function. We will use a lot of these things throughout this class. So anyway, please go home and then install this R. There are a lot of good resources in that. I'll teach how to use R in the class, but since limited amount of time, I will not explain the details of the R because they are all available in the web. Yes, so this is it. You can also learn R as MOOC as follows. This is so by the order of easiness. Let's go this one. Okay. Code school courses try R. Starts course for free. Okay. So you can simply take this course and you can learn R. And this is slightly more difficult one, more difficult one. This is actually I think the best one. Okay. This is I think the best one, but still I think other ones are also fine. And there are R manual. And I have even data for practice. I'll give you some homework of R using this data. Yes, any question? So R is a free and open source program, but it is also very powerful. Even in industry, they use R. When I was working in Lehman Brothers, I also developed a lot of trading strategy with R. Actually, my job in Lehman Brothers was to serve hedge fund managers, and I positioned a quantitative strategy. Okay, I have to develop quantitative strategy. So, so anyway, I use R and I develop strategy, and I explain that strategy to like hedge fund managers, and if they are interested in my trading strategy, then they begin transaction with Lehman Brothers, okay, something like that. So anyway, R is free, open source, and very easy to use. Even students can easily use it, but still it is a very powerful one and professional one. So if you use R, it is definitely helpful to your career. If you are good at R, you can add R. You can argue that you can good at R, and you can add that in your 이력서, in your resume. Okay. Any question? Let me briefly introduce myself. If you want to know about me, you can type my name in the Google, and then you reach this one. So there is a resume research thesis about me. And by the way, if you click this teaching, and then if you click fixed income securities, you can reach our course web page. So, anyway, to briefly introduce myself. I started working in Hanyang University from year 2010. And then I was research fellow at Hanyang Harvard University, and before Hanyang University. I was in Ewha University, Ewha Women's University 1 year. And then I worked in Lehman Brothers as a senior associate. My job was a quantitative strategy, quantitative analyst. So my job was services for hedge fund, mutual fund, pension, insurance, commercial banks in Asia. Strategies upon dynamics of market liquidity, index arbitrage, price decrease, intraday trading, portfolio consider, blah, blah, blah. Developed risk and transaction model for Japan and Asian countries. And I mostly used R. Sometimes Java or C++. But R was my favorite. And I did a short-term internship in Samsung 자산운용. And I was research intern in International Monetary Fund in Washington, D.C. And I did consulting in Accenture Management Company. I was a strategist there. And I was Republic of Korea Air Force officer, 학사장교. And I got my PhD at Duke University, Fuqua School of Business. And then I got my master's degree at Economics Department at University of Virginia. And then my undergraduate major was economics, 경제학. My undergraduate major was economics in Seoul National University. Do you have any questions about me? No? Okay. Since I introduced myself, now it's your turn to introduce yourself. I'll call you one by one, then you come over here and introduce yourself briefly. Okay. What? Any question? What? Do you have a question? Did you say something? English is preferred because it is English class, and some students definitely don't understand the English. So I recommend you to use English. But if it is extremely painful to you, you can use